Hey everyone, it's Grant Ellis. I'm not gonna lie, right now I want to take this computer and that phone and that light and that camera and I want to throw it out the window, okay? Which is exactly what should be happening since I want to talk about technology. But before I do that, before I tell you what's going on, I want to wish everyone a happy Veterans Day. For all of those of you who have served in the past or currently serve, we really appreciate what you do, and words do not do enough to thank you. So we are in your debt and we appreciate that. So going forward, as you can tell, I'm a little bit frustrated with technology, which is funny because that's exactly what I want to talk about today, okay? So, I've got my American flag shirt on, by the way, as well, because America. Anyway, what I've been thinking about lately a lot over the last few weeks because of the circumstances I've been dealing with is the fact that a lot of people are talking about whether or not the human element, or humans in general, are obsolete, and whether or not technology is pretty much replacing exclusively everything that humans used to do. So really where this is hitting home with me is in my investments business, because what's going on is that the business is drastically changing. To give you a little bit of a behind the scenes look at it, because it's still developing, basically there are a lot of people, younger people especially, who have decided that they don't want investment advice from a human. And it sounds funny, but there are some companies, some very, very good companies that are they're developing what's called Robo Advisors. It sounds like a terrifying, RoboCop kind of thing. But basically what it is just, listen, I got some money. I want to invest it. And I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to deal with anybody. So all I have to do is go online to the interwebs and tell them a little bit about myself, and they will invest the money for me. So listen, if that's what you want to do, great. But what's going on is that financial advisors, investment advisors, they're terrified. Because they're wondering if, listen, is this the end of the financial advisor? I think that's a little bit ridiculous. I think that anytime somebody says, listen, this is the end of anything, that they're a little bit out of control, because the world changes. It changes very, very quickly. But all we do is adjust. But that got me thinking about this whole idea of technology versus the human element. And we'll say the human element. It reminds me of that commercial with the human element is the most important element. But don't worry, it's just the easiest way for me to categorize what I'm talking about. But there's been a couple of circumstances lately where it's really come into consideration for me. The act of, do I deal with technology exclusively, or do I deal with the human element? Now, don't get me wrong. First of all, I got to say this. I love technology. I mean, I'm about as big of a technology nerd as you can be. If I didn't have, Evernote and Aweber and Spritz and my Mac and my computers and my cameras and this and that and every other app in the world, I wouldn't know what to do. They really help me be efficient when it comes to not only my work, but my creative efforts, my music, my blogs, my books, everything else. It's amazing. So don't get me wrong, love it, love it, love it. And I think it makes us more productive and more efficient if we use it wisely in the right way. But I also am a big, big believer, a proponent of the human element. I think it's irreplaceable. I think it's something that will never, never go away. But I think that we are in danger of losing respect for the human element, and that's what I want to talk to you about very briefly. So there are a couple of things that happened to me, and I want to tell you what they are so that really give some perspective is what I'm talking about. So first of all, the other day I dropped my Mac, which is awesome, especially when it comes back up and half the screen's like, it looks like this. That's basically what my Mac did, okay? It had a stroke. It was all my fault. I wish I could blame it on somebody else, but I cannot. So, take it to the Mac place, not the Apple Store. Don't worry, take it to somewhere else. There's an authorized dealer in town. They do a great job. So I took it to them and said, yeah, we'll fix it. It'll be, $14 million, and we'll have it back to you in 2 days. I'm like, yes, that's perfect. I can't do anything on my Mac, and I was hoping the data was there and all that, because I'm not I don't back up a lot. I'm not very good at all that. It's kind of like not having life insurance. It's not very smart. And anyway, so I wait the 2 days, and I don't hear anything back. No big deal. I'm not in that big of a hurry. No big deal. So, well, then I wait 2 more days. We're talking about 4 days, right? Double the time that they told me it was going to be. And I'm not mad at this point. I'm actually more curious. They said that we'll get the part in 1, and then it'll take us 1 to put it back in. So I'm going, what in the world's going on? So listen, I don't want to be that guy that calls all the time, but I figured I'd warranted at least a phone call to check and see the status, so that they need to tell me, listen, man, it's more difficult, Grant. We needed a couple more days. Is that okay? Yeah, no big deal. So I call. That's what my phone sounds like. That's also Doogie Howser's intro to his show. Whatever. I call the number, and what happens? Guy is a complete jerk, okay? It was almost like I could feel it coming. I don't know why, but I thought right when I was dialing the phone number, listen, this is not going to go well. What he basically tells me to screw off, and that whenever they're done, they'll call me. And it was very much to that effect. And it was off-putting. It did make me mad, but what it did do is make me a little bit disappointed, because I think how important the human element is and how we are drastically failing at differentiating ourselves from technology. And then when you have the opportunity to show people that you are better than that computer, we fail so much, and I think that's terrible. There's another example that is even more simplistic. Once I got my Mac back finally, and gave my life savings to get it fixed, I needed to immediately get a backup, a hard drive, because I was terrified. If I didn't have my data, it would just not be a good thing. I want it to be one of those things where, there's some Mac fairy somewhere that stores all my data in the Mac, whatever, the clouds, and I don't know. Evidently it's not like that, and you still need to back it up even if it's in a Mac, and only certain things are in the iCloud, or whatever. So they told me, get a backup drive. Cool, no big deal. So I was thinking about it. Well, number one, do I go to my go-to place, which is Amazon.com. I have a Prime membership. If you don't have one, they're fantastic. I get 2-day free shipping on anything I get. So literally, you can buy anything. Diapers, hey, I want diapers, or hey, I want granola bars, and then I want toilet paper. You can buy it all. It's all a great price, and it comes to me in 2 days. So usually I go there, but there are certain circumstances, and this is really where it hits home for me, that I need to talk to someone, okay? So yes, I could go to Amazon, or I could go to Google, or I could go anywhere and type in backup hard drive, and 8,475,000 different hard drives would pull up. Well, I don't know what I need, okay? I don't know if a gigabyte, a megabyte, a millibug, what? I don't know, all right? I have a Mac, I have a PC, are they different? I don't have any idea, right? So I needed to talk to somebody about that. It's very, very important to me just to bounce some ideas off of them. Hey, what do I need? This is what I have. What do I need? You do this for a living. Tell me. It's unbelievably important. So I go to Office Depot, right around the corner from my office. I keep saying right around the corner from my office, and talk to a guy. He's very helpful, helps me out. This is what you need. Take the box to the register, and they'll go and get your hard drive from the lockup. Okay, no big deal. It's pretty empty. They're literally 80 red shirts, which are the workers there, and 2 customers. So go to the register, and she does her little microphone thing, could somebody please get a hard drive from lockup for me? And she sits there for about a minute, and I'm like, well, it's no big deal. I get this. It's an expensive item. They don't want people thieving it. Bad people. And we sit there for a minute, nothing happens. And I still see about 80 workers walking around, not really doing much of anything. A couple of them are helping people, but no big deal. Well, another minute later, yes, is anybody available to get me a hard drive from lockup? We sit there for another minute. Now, at this point, there's a line accumulating behind me, which for whatever reason makes me nervous. I don't like it. It's like people waiting in line behind you to use the restroom. It's not cool. I just don't like it, all right? And I don't want to be rude either, so they're kind of giving me the whole, I've been waiting 10 seconds kind of thing, and I'm like, oh, give me a break, chill out. Well, after another 3 or 4 minutes, literally, we've had radio silence, all right? Nothing. Nobody's getting said hard drive. I don't know what's going on. And so I finally tell the lady, listen, can I step out of line? You can delete my transaction, and then just check everybody else out. And the funny thing was, everybody thought that was crazy. What? You're going to be nice? And what? It's like I'd given a kidney away. It's amazing how low the bar has been set for us these days. So I'm like, yeah, no big deal. I'll sit over here, just, play on my phone. It's fun. Facebook it up, make a few Vine videos. But I didn't do that. Anyway, I step out of line. Eventually, it was probably 10 or 15 minutes. It was a good amount of time. Some guy comes over and is like, hey, does you need a backup? And I'm like, yeah, I did 15 minutes ago. And I didn't really say it like that. I was nice. But he literally walks 1 foot away from me and unlocks the box and pulls out a hard drive. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So at this point, there's 20 people in line. I'm like, no big deal. I'm going to get in line. I'm not going to cut people. People, that's not, even though I was there, that's not cool. They don't like it. I want to be nice. He says, listen, just come right over here. There's a customer service desk, and I'll check you out. I know you've been waiting a while. I was like, great. Score 1 for the human element team, right? He kind of took the disadvantage, and he flipped it on its end. What's that song? Never mind. Don't worry about it. I was about to try to rap. It wasn't going to be good. So anyway, I'm like, all right, great. So we go over there. He types in his little information, and then all of a sudden he gets a look of, to me it was like a combination of he needed to go to the bathroom or he was terrified that a zombie was about to cut his head off. I don't know. It's kind of right in the middle there. Not good, all right? I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, we've been having computer issues all day, and my computer is now down. So let me, if you haven't caught the irony in this, talk to you about it, all right? I'm in an Office Depot. They not only sell computers, but they fix computers. And now the computers were down, and they had been all day. That hit me as very, very interesting. It was funny because in this one little circumstance in Office Depot, the human element had failed multiple times, and the technological element had failed. It was crazy. It was like a total meltdown. So anyway, we finally got back up, got everything logged on, got my little hard drive, and I left. And about the whole time, I think it took me, between driving there and back, it took me over an hour, which doesn't sound like a ton of time, but I'm one of those guys that I plan out literally every minute of my day from the minute I wake up till the minute I go to bed, because it is easier for me to be productive. So that was a full hour of my day that I could have been doing other things. And in a minute and a half, I probably could have just put in backup drive for Mac and had it shipped to me like that. So the moral of the story is this, is that when we have an opportunity to deal with other people, whether it be in work or relationships or anything, we have to differentiate ourselves, okay? Because if there is a baseline level of service and technology beats us on that baseline, then we have no chance in terms of, I don't think we're going to go away by any means, but if you give me the choice of dealing with efficient technology or inefficient and rude human element, I'm going with technology. So don't let that be the case. You have to rise above their circumstances. So what needs to happen is the Mac guy needs to think, listen, yeah, I work on computers, but if I can help this guy out, he's going to come back to me for life. And the Office Depot, some of those people, listen, if we can get this guy's hard drive to him in 20 seconds rather than 10 minutes, which sounds like a small thing, it's not a small thing to me, because I know that they took the time to get that done the right way and to help me out. Because if it wasn't for that, I'd just go get it online. So now the next time I do need something like that, I'm probably going to think twice about whether or not I should go to a store and get some ideas and get some thoughts, or whether or not I should just get it online. So when the opportunities present themselves for you to compete with technology, make sure that you're setting the bar high, because technology is setting the bar very high as it is, okay? I hope you have a great week. If you liked this post, please share it. Sign up for updates below. Leave a comment, as long as it's nice, because if it's naughty, I will not be happy. And we'll get some more stuff out to you, and I hope you're having a great day, great week, and I'll talk to you soon. I appreciate your time.